Just might learn something. Welcome back to another episode of Elevate and Illuminate, the Empowerment Podcast. I'm your host, Jamarcus Fields, founder and executive director of Iron Sharpens Iron WASP, where we are stronger together. Each week, we've been diving into real conversations that shine a light on resilience, healing, and the truth about mental health in our communities. Today, I'm joined by a brother whose journey is both powerful and raw. While incarcerated, he became a mentor, the kind of person others leaned on when they were struggling with their own mental health. But in the process, he often neglected his own struggles. Since coming home, he's had to navigate the challenges of reentry, including housing, which he describes as both empowering and humbling. His story is about strength, sacrifice, and the reality of what it means to rebuild while still carrying the weight of personal battles. This is the kind of conversation that doesn't just inspire, it makes us rethink how we view resilience, support, and community. With that, welcome everybody. And to my guests, take a minute, introduce yourself to the audience and kind of explain who you are.
Man. First of all, man, I gotta salute you and the rest of the Iron Men and women, man. I uh I appreciate you guys, man. It's for all y'all do for the community, man, and most importantly for man being obedient to Christ Jesus, man, and,
Absolutely. Thank
and
you.
taking that call, bro. Straight up. With that being said, man, my name is James Griffie, better known as Kevin. A lot of people call me Kevin. Uh, um, Executive Griff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, man. With explaining who I am, I just say, man, a survivor, man. I'm a survivor, and I
Mm,
mean that. I say that in not an arrogant way, but a humbling way. You know,
right.
been through a lot.
Absolutely. Heard that survivor. So again, welcome everybody. Y'all know how this works. Chat room is open. So any questions that you have, any comments, anything you want to add to the conversation, put it in the chat. We will do our best to kind of search the chat and bring it to the conversation. Um, and with that, I'm gonna jump right in. So Griff, when you were inside, what led you to step into that role of being a mentor for others? And how did that responsibility shape your own journey with mental health?
Man, it was rewarding, man. It was, man, to 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 be able to help some of them younger guys, and not just the younger guys, but some of them guys that was in my situation
No
and
doubt.
going through stuff, to be able to kind of assist them in navigating their issues they was having in prison and just speaking up. Uh, that that helped a lot of dudes, like in so many ways, because they was being led astray with all the conflict and chaos that was going on around us. You know what it's like in that concrete jungle.
Mm-hmm.
All the older guys call themselves so-called OGs, uh, hooking the young dudes on drugs, sending them off to do this. It was terrible, man. And I just couldn't sit around and watch that happen with me being an older guy, being in them dudes' position. So I spoke up even when it wasn't my business. And once I did that, a lot of the dudes kind of gravitated towards me for advice and just different things to bring insight to them. So I consider myself a pretty righteous dude. So I always told them the truth, whether they like what they heard or not. You know.
Absolutely. And that was the crazy thing is that's one of the things that drew us to you was we seen the figure that you had become in there. and that you were a mentor, that you had a voice, that when you speak, the youngsters listen, they respected you. And that's not to say that they always agreed with you, but they respected you enough to take in what you were giving them and kind of put it on the scale and see if the weight come back right. You know
Yeah,
what I
because
mean?
they knew I was being honest with them.
Yeah,
I wasn't
because
great, wasn't great leading them straight.
that part. And they definitely clearly could feel that. Because when we first came in and started the program, our program was for 18 to 25 years old. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So after you asked to come in that day,
I wanted
and
in.
we let you sit in, and we seen the dynamic with the rest of the group, we went back and fought hard to get you in that class. Now, granted, we could have just gave you the okay to come sit in, but like I wanted it to be in an official capacity to where you are part of the class, you on the count letter, you get a certificate right along with everybody else. And so we went back and fought hard for that. And not only were we able to get the okay to have you sit in the class, they took the age limit off.
Yeah, yeah,
Because we believe firmly in, not just out here but even in there, in peer-led services. Like, can't nobody reach certain, reach individuals without having lived the same experiences that they live in,
that
and
part.
being able to relate to them on a different level. So that was the first time that you stuck out to us, and we seen the importance of what you was doing in there, and we was like, we got to find a way to bring him on board and help cultivate that and help it shape the class overall.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, it was an honor for me to be amongst them dudes. Uh, that 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 wasn't in such a great space at that time, man. But it also got overwhelming to me at times because, man, they was coming to me with all their problems. I'm like, listen, bro, I don't want to hear about you and your girl because I got my own issues. You know what I mean? But they needed they needed somebody to vent to, and it was a blessing to be there, and also a lot of lessons was taught to me through them too. So they kind of
Mm-hmm.
helped my mental health journey as well. I remember one of the youngsters, man, he taught me a very valuable lesson when it comes to just obeying authority. Because I had a real problem with authority. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you ain't feed me, you can't tell me nothing. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
I'm against people that abuse their position. So I was very vocal about that. And one day, one of the youngsters said, "Hey, kid, can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Sure. What's that?" He said, "If you can't respect human authority, how you gonna respect spiritual authority?"
Wow.
And hey, man, that took me to a whole nother level with my thinking and my attitude. And it was just a humbling experience, man. It really was, man. Shout out to young Steve for bringing that to my attention. So now, I still find myself angry at certain situations, dealing with certain people, but you know, just having a respect for anything that's positioned over you is in its natural order. First of all, because that's the way God created it. It's different
Mm-hmm.
levels of authority, and we got to know our position sometime, and that position can also humble you. You know, So, man, shout out to that, man. That was one of the big lessons that I learned and kind of shifted my mental health while I was in there.
Wow. That was a powerful question he hit you with, man. Like, I'm still over here stewing on that, right?
Man,
It's, and it's imperative that we remain teachable, no matter what we done been through, no matter how old we get. Um, to remain teachable, because some of our most invaluable lessons come from some of the most unlikeliest places and unlikeliest sources. Um, just listening to you say that had me reflecting on a particular time in my life when I was real frustrated with something. I'm talking about, and this is since I've been home. I was very frustrated, man, and I was like really I was about to lose it, right? And I have a friend that I talk to on the regular, and I didn't really want to share, but she noticed in my voice that something was wrong. So when she asked me about it, I explained to her, what I was dealing with, and she was like, "Okay, so what you doing about it?" And I said, "Man, I'm just trying to figure it out." I'm like, "I already prayed." She said, "You prayed?" She said, "So you prayed and you gave it to God?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Do you believe that God gonna handle it?" And I said, "Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't have prayed. Like, what would be the sense in praying?" She said, "You couldn't have. Why are you still worried about it then?
That part.
Like, why is it still stressing you out? Why are you still thinking about it? Why are you still trying to figure anything out? If you gave it to God, let Him handle it." I couldn't do nothing but laugh, Griff.
Yeah, man. And that's what God be waiting on too.
Yeah,
Like we pray to him often, but he hears all the prayers and we get our answer right away, whether we know it or not. It's a yes, no, and a maybe. Not right now. And sometimes he's sitting back waiting to see how we gonna react to things. Are you
hmm,
still gonna try to figure it out? Or you gonna let me do what you asked me to do for you? And when your faith operate with his will, that's when he get up and go to work for you. I learned that. That's another thing I learned while I was down. Yeah.
yeah,
So
absolutely,
that was a beautiful lesson for us to experience, man.
absolutely. So, um, so you shared that in helping others, and it's a norm that you become so focused on being a servant and helping others with what they're going through and trying to find different ways to deal with it, that we often neglect our own struggles.
Man,
We can fix everybody else's problems, but like don't even give ours the attention that it deserves. So looking back, how do you reflect on that balance or that imbalance today? Has the lack of focusing on your own struggles made you a a bit more selfish now, in terms of I got to get my stuff together before I can help anybody else? Or are you still like, how have you found a working balance between helping others more than you actually help yourself?
man, shout out to Dr. Russell Adet, man, Coach Shiner. Uh, them dudes, man, they brought a lot of insight to me.
Right.
And Dr. Russell Adet's demonstration of the airplane,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you just come, your airplane just getting out that hangar. You ain't you ain't checked to see if it was fuel. You didn't check to see if it operate the right way. But yet you steady putting passengers in here and preparing to take off. You ain't even checked your pilot's credentials to see if he got the experience to fly. And with that being said, when he gave that demonstration, basically he was telling us not to put all this stuff on our plane or carry on all this extra luggage before your plane can even take off.
Right.
And when he gave that basic demonstration, I'm probably not saying it the same way he said it, but that was an eye opener of the importance of taking care of me first.
Right.
when I came home, I was in a rush to get back to the position I was so used to of taking care of others. And not only that, I felt like I had the responsibility to take care of others because I had lost one of my brothers while uh, before my incarceration, and he had a bunch of kids.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came home, some of his kids they was in need of things. And I'm the type of dude where I'm a sacrifice for mine, you know.
Right.
And I got out and went straight to that. I went straight to it. And before I know it, I'm looking around like, hey, yeah, now who gonna help you?
Yeah.
Like now I'm looking crazy trying to figure it out when I had a decent jump start. But I put others' needs in front of mine and it set me back. But after I came to realize I'm one of them dudes that I can get hard hit, I had to bump my head and hear that message from Doc that, hey, you matter too. So that right there, that was the pivoting point for me right there, man. Just being honest with myself about where I was at and what I had the power to do and not do.
Absolutely. Man, that part. Yes, so love in the chat said it's like we don't trust God. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's something special in taking our hands off and letting God take the wheel, and trusting and believing in him.
Yes, sir.
And then Clarence said faith without works is dead.
Most definitely.
Ab- Absolutely. Um, so of course, being justice involved myself, I've gone through the transition period. I know just like that transitioning home is not easy by no stretch of the imagination.
Right.
No support, new city, going back to the familiar grounds, like it's not an easy transition. Um, so can you walk us through what it felt like to be in your transitional period and dealing with rejection in terms of your stable housing?
Oh man. Like I said, coming home, it was a big fear for me because I knew what was waiting on me out there.
Right.
I knew what was waiting. And I knew it was gonna be hard at times. I knew it was gonna get hard. So one of the biggest issues and fears I had was everything that was tempting. You know, uh, I had a lot of different things tugging and pulling in me, and I knew if I didn't stay focused, things were gonna get harder. And I was already in fear of going back to survival mode. I had already told God I don't ever want to be in survival mode again.
No doubt.
And and once things started having these what y'all call free people problems, responsibility bills, uh,
Yeah.
where you grade stay, and that was a big thing. Like it's just certain areas, yeah, I ain't going for it. You hear me? Like
Mhm.
so, I was placed in a situation due to somebody that had authority over me.
Right.
I was placed in a situation where I had to actually live in a shelter, Willis, Mission, when I first
Right.
came, and it was against my will, but I fell up under that authority and I did what was told of me. I ain't even gonna say asked of me because it was demanded, and I went there, and that right there humbled me once again,
Hmm.
just to see dudes in their real life struggle like that, you know, and it shocked me because I thought that I'd never be in that type of position ever, ever. You know, I done own houses. You know, I always had somewhere to lay my head due to support system. But I found myself at Willer's Mission for close to 3 weeks, I believe. And each day was very humbling, man. And it made me want to do something to help people in that position, man, in the future, man. I think God, God, He wanted me to see that. He wanted me to see that. He wanted me to experience that. And
Yeah.
it was it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I ended up making some connections with the director, Mr. Johnny Hill, and a couple other people that's been doing some terrific things. Mr. Hill, he inspired me because he had did 34 years in the penitentiary, and now he's down there like for real helping people to the best of his ability, and he's
Yeah.
doing it with a sincere heart. So I needed to see that.
Yeah. It's crazy because I remember that period and when that happened and when you first told me, right? And just the time that I had got to know you, I was like, my initial thought was, "Ooh, okay, that's gonna be rough for bro right there." But
Hey, man,
I
I
said,
almost told them to send me back to the penitentiary.
I trust me, I know. I promise you, I know. I knew it was gonna be rough, but I also, in my heart, was like, that might be one of the best things to happen to you because what it allowed you to do was, when we talk about like free people problems, like the premise around that whole statement is that you crying because you think things are bad and hard, and you really don't understand how good you got it because it can be way worse.
Yeah,
And that's what those situations do. They humble you, man. God has a way of putting us in certain situations so that we can really see what we got and what we taking for granted.
man, he put me to the test, man. I said I was gonna trust him, and when I said that before I came home, but I didn't
Yeah,
know I was gonna be tested. Like, bro, I felt vulnerable, bro. My feelings was hurt, my
yeah,
pride was hurt. So going going through that, bro, it wasn't easy. And by the grace of God, man, I had a talk with Brother Mutia, man, and he said, "Listen, bro, that ain't the option. Going back
yeah,
to the military." I'm like, "Bro, I go do that time. That ain't nothing. A year, that ain't nothing." He like, "Man, look where you just came from." He said, "Ain't no movement in there. You ain't moving forward, going backwards." And he
man.
said, and then when he said that, I had to think about some of the stuff that I just endured during that year. I was just there. Couple dudes lost their lives at a level 2,
Yeah,
lightweight at level 1. Like
yeah,
dudes was murdered in that 1 year I was there. So I'm like, yeah, bro, right. And plus, I don't want to be around all them lying, stinking ass dudes either. I'm cool. You know what I
right.
mean? Yeah, let me go on ahead. Let me go on ahead and push through this. Ask God to show me why I'm here and deal with it. Deal with it. You done been in worse situations. This ain't that. And this ain't your first time being without shelter either. So, you, so yeah, I
Oh
had to stick
man.
my chest out, man, and go through that, man. But it was like I said, it was a blessing in disguise because it added it added to my heart of something that I want to do, and that's be a service to Him. So I always ask God to show me who it is you want me to help today, or if it's somebody that I need to help today, send them to me. And that was one of his ways of answering my prayers, man. He was
Yeah.
showing me. So that right there helped me develop the spirit of servitude, man. Like, all right, when I get my stuff straight, I'm coming back and reaching out. And that's what I did. Like a couple weeks later, I was up there passing out blankets to them dudes, uh, beanie hats, gloves, hand warmers, all that. And
Mm-hmm.
and you know, hopefully, you know, I'll be able to do something in the future to help some more people.
Yeah. It had me think of, in one of the classes, there was a guy who was getting ready to go home. And when we asked him about his plan, what was his plan when he got ready to go out? And he started talking about everything that he was planning to do. And so it wasn't lost on us that he didn't mention anything about like where he was landing his feet and laying his head. So we asked about that. And he admitted that in that moment, he was kind of tossed up between two different spots, right? So what's the conflict? Where's the confusion at? And he didn't really deem either one of them as a secure fit for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He was going back to some, in both situations to someone he had prior relationships with that, was toxic.
Gotta be
One of
careful
them
with
didn't
that.
end well, but you already know you're so focused on wanting to get out that anybody that's willing to open up the doors, like you almost ready to run through the door and dive in the bed, right? So when we told him, like, sometimes you have to literally get to the bottom, meaning you got to erase some of that stuff out your life and focus on you. And so after we had to talk with him, he had made the statement where, man, you know what, man, y'all right. And this was the following week. He was like, you know what, man, y'all right, man. Like I'm sitting up here tripping, man. Like I ain't doing this no more. If I gotta go stay in a shelter, that's what I do.
For real.
And I told him, I said, you know what, I commend you for even making that statement. The thing was, he came home and was home, and I remember getting a call one day, and he was in jail because he had got into it with the girl he went home with and then left, went to the other girl house and didn't report his change of address. So he ended up in jail. And then he was like, hey man, can y'all come to court? Can you write letters for me? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I sat back and I mean, you know me, you know the kind of heart I have. So of course I went to court and I wrote a letter, but I told him, nah, I ain't gonna be able to do that. I said, man, we had a talk and you knew what you needed to do. And you still let something else lead you in that journey into something that you knew wasn't healthy for you.
Boy.
You told me it wasn't healthy. I don't know these chicks. So if you know it's not healthy and you know your freedom is at stake, you know your mental health is on the plate, why are you playing with that? And you say you don't like where you just came from.
Man.
But of course, I did go help him, and ultimately he did get up under that situation, got back out, and he's actually doing good now. And I think that served as a reminder to him to tighten up. Like this is not a game, and sometimes there's purpose in the struggle.
Yeah. I
We don't
agree.
just struggle for nothing. There's purpose in that. Some of our greatest lessons come from the toughest times in our life. And we have to learn to embrace them. We got a few comments in the chat that I want to highlight. Um, so I see Love Jones asked what was waiting on you out here. I remember when she popped that up. I don't remember the context of the conversation at that particular time. Um, if that makes sense for you, you can address it.
I wonder what she meant by what was waiting on me. It was a lot waiting on me.
Right. I mean, if she's still on, she could tap back in the
There was
chat
a lot waiting on
and
me,
and
but
kind of clarify.
it could
Misty
have been
said he
something good. It
uses
could have been something bad. You know, the choice was,
no
it was
doubt.
all on the choices and the decisions I made. You know, if
Right.
that answer her question, it all depends
Okay.
on the choices I made. And at the age I am, I try to make more healthier choices now, man, and learn to put stuff in God's hand, man, because man, He showed me that He cared about me, bruh. He showed me that He still cared about me. I sat in that county jail for 35 months, bruh. And in that time frame, I was able to build my relationship with Him. And a lot of dudes that was in and out the jail or even sitting in there with me, they thought I was pursuing God because of my situation. Nah, I was pursuing this relationship because I knew that that's the only thing that's gonna save me. I ain't worried about this body. I'm worried about the one that can destroy the body and the soul. So at the time when I was going through what I was going through, I already knew this flesh, it's gonna be deceased one day. But my soul, I'm trying to keep that from being deleted. So I was more focused on him, and it was funny too, Marcus, because a lot of dudes they seen all the reading and studying I was doing. They like, boy, you must be facing some time because you going hard with this law work. I said, what make you think I'm studying law work?
Mm.
I said, matter of fact, I am studying law work. It's just a different law.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's just a different law.
Right.
And man, they brought that to my attention, man. And I was just on a mission, man, to get closer to my Lord and Savior, man. Because like I said, man, I been through a lot of traumatizing things, man, throughout my life, man. My entire immediate family were victims of violence, like on some
Mhm.
real stuff. Uh, at, at, at a young age, I witnessed my father come home with his leg gone due to gun violence.
Right.
Years later, I was shot in the face at the age of 13. A few years after that, my mother was set on fire. And every last one of my siblings victim to gun violence. My entire family. So throughout them years, that stuff was traumatizing, man, and it brought a lot of pain and trauma and toxic things to my life. And I knew at the age I was when I was finally starting figuring out, because I was going to church too. For
Mhm.
the first time in my life, 2015, 16, I went to church consistently. Like every Sunday, didn't miss a beat. And it wasn't because of everything that was going on around me or in my life. It was because I was in pursuit of knowing who my Lord and Savior was, because I knew he was holding on to me throughout all them years, and it was up to me to come to him, and I was getting the messages through different things, but when he tugging at you, like if you really paying attention, he ain't gonna bogart his way in your life. He gonna come. God is the perfect gentleman, so he gonna come at you real gentle. It's on you to pay attention to that, man. And I wasn't paying attention to it. I had to really uh be stripped of everything that I thought I was holding on to
Right.
in order for him to really catch my attention. And when he did, man, it was I was still wrestling, man. 'Cause I still battle with a lot of stuff, man. I do. So, but I'm thankful that I do have a relationship with him now, and I'm learning to allow him to lead, man. And he's doing it by bringing people like you, the rest of my brothers in my life, man. I feel good, man,
Mhm.
to have these type of relationships, man, because man, I grew up around some very negative people, bro.
Right.
I ain't had I ain't had too many people that was inspiring, motivating, so I know what he doing. I know what he doing in my life, man, and I'm blessed.
Man, that part. So I'm gonna finish up in this chat. So before I move on, so Love Jones came back and said that you said it like you were worried about what was waiting on you when you came home, and said something like you already knew what was waiting on you when you got home. If that added any clarity to it for you.
Yeah, I don't know where they're trying to get with it, but yeah, it was. When I say that, I mean the struggle. Like I said, I'm in my 40s.
Right.
That wasn't my first time in prison. So my thing was getting out and
Okay.
going back. Like, come on, man. I've
Right.
been to prison 4 times. And not to mention, the very first time I went to prison at the age of 13, Indiana Boys School. So I done been through the Department of Corrections system 5 times total throughout my life.
Mhm.
And I had been on the street since the age of 13. So I know what's out there. And I had survived a lot of stuff and I had been through a lot of stuff. You ain't gotta elaborate on that. And not to mention, you got people that like to play games nowadays too. They throwing rocks and hiding their hands and trying to do little sneaky stuff, you know. So yeah, I knew it was gonna be tricky out here. The devil tricky.
Yeah,
But like I
absolutely.
said, I don't put myself in a position where I worry about none of that. Cause like I said, I ain't the threats. I come from poverty. I come from a broken home. I was born to a threat. So the threats,
Man,
they can keep that. You know what I
right,
mean? I ain't worried about the one that they can destroy the body. I'm worried about the one that can destroy the body and the soul. You hear me?
right.
So that's why I say, man, yeah, man, I know what's out here. And part of the reason why I'm doing this to bring awareness to the ones that don't, man. There you go. That's what it's about.
Yes,
That's what it's about. You know what I mean? You can't do that from a jail cell or a grave.
absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so Misty said he needed to show you what can happen when you're humbled, and he needed paths crossed with certain people that taught you your doubts. Good for you. Um, Jerry stated God was teaching you how to rely on him completely. And Nitty Bob asks, what were some of your biggest struggles while incarcerated?
Man, man, staying focused on the person that God was. That's one of the biggest struggles. Staying focused on the person God need me to become. I feel like I'm a leader, man. I'm the oldest boy. I'm the firstborn of 4 boys, man. And I at times I feel like I failed as a leader. A lot of people look up to me. So I had told God, you give me another opportunity at this thing called freedom in life. Let me get out here and be there for my nephews, my family, and whoever else you showed me that I need to attend to. And he started showing me right there where I was at. Like I was missing my nephews, man. I hadn't seen none of them the whole time I was gone. And when I got to prison, naturally, a lot of the youngsters in there, they started calling me uh, uh, uh. And it started feeling
Mhm.
good, even though I wanted to hear it from my nephews, but just
Right.
hearing it from them, I end up leaving there with 50 more nephews. You're like straight up. So
Got a whole
man,
army of them now.
yeah, man, we deep, man. We deep, man.
Yeah,
But my goal, like I said, man, is to get out here and try to be a better leader and be the man I told God that I was gonna be once I got out here. And I stand on that.
yeah, and you definitely do. We can see it. Um, we can see it. I've had the pleasure of watching your journey since you come home, and I'm proud of you, bro.
Appreciate
Seriously.
it, bro.
Like I know some of the, and I don't know every detail, but I know some of them hurdles that you done had to get over, some of the mountains you done had to climb, man, and like you climbed them with grace, integrity, and tact, man. Like I honor that, bro. I salute you for that.
Man, that was with the help of God, man. I promise it wasn't it wasn't
Amen.
me doing it. It wasn't me, boy.
Amen.
We had my way, bro. I'm my worst enemy, bro.
Yeah.
And I can be very impulsive, and I still have a real bad temper and anger issue. So, but I'm getting there, man. I'm learning. And I'm learning also to ask for help now, and I'm learning to take accountability, you know, and I'm learning to put me first. So it's coming together.
Yeah. So completing the chat. So um my mom then hopped in. She said, God said, seek him and you will find him.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing, Mom?
Joseph Kelly says, you are on the right path. Your positivity will lead to new successes.
Right on, Joe. That's one of
Um,
my mentors right there.
that's
Yeah,
what's up.
I found me a bunch of new friends, man. I got away
That's
from
what's
the
up.
chickens. You hear me?
Yeah.
I, I soar with eagles now. You hear me?
Right. uh, absolutely. So, uh, for many justice involved individuals, stigma can be just as heavy as the practical challenges. How have you navigated the way people see you versus the reality of who you are today?
Hey, man, I don't run from it, bro. It is what it is. Because people going to judge you. People going to have their opinions.
Regardless.
Regardless, bro. And
Yeah.
I'm to the point where I'm through trying to prove to somebody that I'm walking it. Long as God know and I know, that's all that matters, man. And I, like I said, I stand on
Yeah.
that, man. And he done showed me through my situation that he walks with me. And only thing that matters is those that matter, man. They don't. That's the only the opinion that matter to me, bro. At
Yeah.
this point, man, because I was one of them dudes that I used to be worried about what people thought about me, what I'm driving, what I got on. Man, I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of that no more. How much money? I don't care about none of that. Because guess what? You can't take none of that with you when you go anyway. Yeah. And that
Hmm.
stuff ain't got no substance in it. It don't add no value to me.
Right.
Yeah, some of these dudes gotta have certain type of car, clothes to make them. Nah, built a little different.
Built a lot of different.
Yeah, yeah.
straight, straight up. So Love Jones said, I love to hear your growth. I love to
Right
hear
on.
a man tell another man, I'm proud of you. Absolutely.
That's what we do, man. That's what I say, man. You gotta get them some new friends, man. Y'all super friends for real. They out here in the streets talk about super friends, man. They ain't your super friends ain't got no superpowers. A lot of them got snitching powers. You hear me? Yeah, you hear me? They wouldn't survive the type of stuff you do, man. That's why I salute you and all the Iron Men, man. Y'all, man, for y'all to endure the things y'all went through at a young age. because most of y'all dudes are around my age, and I'm thinking back, like, wow, I could have easily been right up the road with y'all around the same time, man.
Mm-hmm.
Out here playing.
Yeah.
And man, I can only imagine some of the stuff y'all went through during that time period. And to decide to make a, a more your life go in a more positive direction, bro,
Right.
that ain't easy, bro. Especially being gone all the time. Then you come home and you like, dang, I missed out on this, I missed out on that. Like you almost want to get your feet wet and live your third childhood. But you do stay focused, man, and y'all stay committed to the mission, bro. And that's why, man, man, y'all a big inspiration to me, bro. Real, man. You know, I'm paying
Right.
attention, bro. I'm trying to follow lead. And I ain't no follower, but yeah, I hop on that train.
That part. So from your perspective, what do reentry programs and communities often overlook when it comes to supporting the mental health of returning citizens? Because you got quite a few people in this space operating programs like, and you've been through some. What are they missing?
I've been through quite a few programs since I've been home.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few. That's what I've been doing to keep my mind and everything occupied. And I noticed I've been studying these organizations, and one of the things I think a lot of them are missing is pure genuine. Like they need to be genuine. Uh, they need to be more attentive to some of the needs that guys like me eh, come out of prison and lack, such as housing, jobs. If you can take care of, if a man can take care of both of those coming home from prison, it cuts down on a lot of mess,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of worry, a lot of confusion. Um, uh, Come on, Capone, get down, boy, go. Don't do that. Oh man, he clown.
So they're gonna teach you.
He been cool all this time. But yeah, that's it. But yeah, man, I think and more housing resources, giving dudes a stable environment where they can come home to and not have to worry about where they gonna lay their head, because
Mm-hmm.
that right there can affect anybody's mental, especially when it's cold outside. Uh, I know that it's a big thing to ask to any organization, but if a lot of these organizations can pull their resources together and make it about the people, and that's where I'm at, man. That's another reason why I'm pursuing real estate as hard as I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to help as many people as I can. I believe social service is the number one need in society. And for these organizations to just take advantage of because a lot of them just taking advantage of the numbers. We just get
Yeah.
you signed up. We get you signed up. And then they going back showing that they doing numbers, and then they getting more funding. But what are you going with the money?
Right.
Are you genuinely helping people, or you focus on building your own empire? And
Right.
I just believe, man, I just need the organizations to be more sincere about helping people. That's what I think they lack. And I know it's a lot of good organizations out there that want to help people, but They lacking a lot of housing resources. That's what I would say at the moment. Job resources. I've been through quite a few programs, man, since I've been here, and I've been trying to get help in any way I can.
Right. You know, for me, when I think of that question and I pair it with my own journey and the journey I've seen others travel doing this work that I do, I feel like it's too much of a quantitative approach than a qualitative approach. And
I
that kind of lends to what you was just saying in
mhm.
terms of the numbers, rather than the quality of the service that you're providing. You know, like you cast the net and you spread this net so thin for the sake of getting more numbers that you got some guys in there and some girl and some ladies in there that truly are game changers and could change the world. But they can't get what they need because the net cast too big. You know, and you got a lot of it's like when I go down to the state house and speak to the Senate,
Mhm.
I often tell the Senate members or the members, yeah, the senators, that I sat in there one day and I listened to several people get up to the mic of
Mhm.
prestigious stature here in the city for whatever they did, and I'm listening to them talk, and I'm listening to them spit out numbers, and I'm listening to them talk about data. One, the numbers in the data that they spitting are inaccurate. And then they talking about the impact that it's having. And I'm like, and it's not having that impact that you talking. So I'm like, you got a bunch of people that are policymakers, policy changers, and they really don't know how these policies are impacting the people.
Mhm.
But you get individuals that have the lived experience that then walk this and can get into sectors, can get the attention, can reach the population that you can't reach, and don't nobody want to deal with them.
That's crazy.
Those are the superheroes.
Come on, man.
You know, just using that terminology, like those are the superheroes, the guys that can actually, and the people that can actually have an impact. Because my thing is, when we look at this recidivism rate that we've been dealing with,
Mhm.
this recidivism rate been kind of teetering at that same level for a long time. So that means something ain't been working for a long time.
With all these places with these so-called resources.
Ain't nobody open to change. Like nobody's open to change. We just gonna let it stay where it's at and pretend that we trying to change it.
I'm gonna say this though, Marcus. It ain't completely due to the system either, man. People gotta
True.
want to do it for themselves, man. And a
True.
lot of people, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm watching them, bro. They really just don't want to put in the work. They don't want to change, bro. They like what they like. All right, well, if you like pain, keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. I agree 100% on that. But there are a lot of people that want to.
I don't doubt that.
And yeah, there are a lot of people that want to. Prisons were built for a reason.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, yeah, you're gonna have some that don't want to get it, that don't want to put in the work, that they comfortable in their mess. When you comfortable in your mess, we got somewhere that you can go sit in your mess. But that's not everybody. And that's my thing. What about the ones that can be reached? I feel like we need to put a valiant effort in to reach those that can be reached. We got not, almost 95% of the prison population that will return to society. Those that can be reached, let's reach them and allow them to be an asset to the community. To
Yeah,
some of these broken homes with no fathers, to some of these broken homes who has the mother has been absent because she been in prison. Like, let's be able to reach them, those that can be reached. Of course, we're gonna have some in between here and there that ain't really about that. That's gonna throw the algorithm off a little bit. But does that mean that we don't deal with it because of that? I don't believe that it does.
can you hear me, Marcus?
Yes.
Man, somebody was just trying to call me, man. The screen went black.
Yeah. So it froze you, but we can still hear you. We're gonna keep on rocking.
But
Like your
yeah,
voice,
man.
your voice is still powerful. So we
Well,
we,
thank
we, we
God for that. You know, I
and
can
at least
you
at least
still
it didn't freeze you on a weird facial expression. Like you look cool, right? So we good. We gonna keep it moving. So um what would you say to someone who is currently incarcerated, struggling with mental health concerns, and feel like they have no one to turn to?
Oh man, that's a good question, man. First thing I would say, man, is learn to depend on a higher power than yourself. Learn to lean on God, man. Get close to Him. Cause that was my go-to, bro. I had
Mm-hmm.
a lot of deep, dark secrets, and I found that getting stuff off my chest was good for me. You know,
Right.
I was holding in a lot of stuff, and God was my go-to to vent to. And yeah, I'm just talking to anybody, but yeah, that was my go-to. So going to Him, and then it also taught me the value of confessing your sins. It's a scripture I think that says, "Pray for one another and confess your sins to one another, and then healing will come after that."
Right.
Yeah, but then man, that would be the number one go-to, and then dudes dudes take advantage of every program. Educate yourself, man. That was one of the main things I pushed on a lot of the guys, man. Educate yourself, because it was some smart guys in there. They had a lot of good ideas, but they were
Mhm.
they were falling into negative habits and behavior that was taking them down the wrong path, and they was turning into MOB. They said mob, max out boy.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, educate yourself, man. Educate yourself. Utilize your time. Utilize that time wisely. I know it gets hard in there. You got a certain routine and schedule, and then you got all the negative and toxic stuff going on that causes distraction. So yeah, and you just got to learn how to block some of that stuff out, man. I spent a lot of time on my bunk, because I knew getting off that bunk was going to probably lead me into some other stuff.
Right.
My goal was to go home, not extend my stay.
No doubt.
Yeah, I understood that I was blessed with my situation, and my goal was to come home, and get on this mission. And
Right.
that's the mission to leave a better life, so I can be a better influence to those around me. If you look around your circle and you ain't inspired by that, it's not a circle, that's a cage. Time
No
to
doubt.
change that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta change that up. So uh to them dudes that's in there, pay attention to who you associate yourself with. Do they
Right.
inspire you? Do they inspire you? Do they lift you up? Do they encourage you? Your guy Swisher, he said it best. He said, don't preach to him, encourage him.
Yeah.
And I agree with him, man. We gotta find things to bring out the best in people, man. If we ain't doing that, then we failing.
That part. Man, yeah, this hour be going fast, man. I want to thank you for your willingness to join, for your transparency, um, and for your growth.
Appreciate it.
All the way around the board, man. So I definitely appreciate you, man. It has definitely been empowering. To everybody who tuned in tonight, thank y'all for joining us, for giving us a hour of your life. Hopefully we impacted, enlightened, or empowered it in some way. Yeah. So thank y'all. You know, you could have been anywhere. Y'all chose to tune in, to tap in with us, man. And I
Man,
hope we did
appreciate y'all too, man.
we did y'all some service, man. This has been Elevate and Illuminate, the Empowerment Podcast. Again, we're here every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This whole season, we've been talking about mental health. That has been our topic. Next week will be our season finale um, for the mental health portion of Elevate and Illuminate. As usual, if y'all like the series. I like the podcast. I love what y'all heard tonight. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. And make sure y'all check out the website, Iron Sharpens Iron, WAST.org, and see what the organization has going on, what community events we have going on. Every fourth Tuesday of the month, we have our Just Family Network gathering, which is family members, loved ones of those incarcerated that come together to create a community to support one another in the struggles of walking alongside someone who's incarcerated and trying to understand them and not just hear their words, but be able to hear their heart when they speak. We have our annual gala coming up December the 6th. Um, you can find that on Eventbrite. It is live. Tickets are on sale. And a time is to be had at our gala. Last year was a great success. This year will be even greater. This year we are calling it the Golden Legacy, as this year, me, the founder and executive director, turned 50 on the 8th of this month. So this will be the Golden Legacy. So check out the website, see what we got going on, and find out all the different ways you can get involved. Be it wanting to be an Iron Man, wanting to do this work, wanting to come alongside and maybe be a board member, or if you feel led to, to sponsor or donate to some of our causes. As y'all can imagine, the gala isn't cheap. So we're always looking for someone to help sponsor some things dealing with the gala. So tap in and see what we got going on. With that, I'll give my closing reflection and then I'll allow everybody to get on with the rest of their evening. So what we've heard today is a reminder that resilience doesn't always look like having it all together. It often looks like surviving the storm while still reaching back to help someone else. Our guest story shows us the tension between being a support for others and learning to care for ourselves, and how even in the hardest transitions, like leaving prison or living in a shelter, there are lessons that can humble us, shape us, and elevate us. As you reflect on today's conversation, I challenge you to consider how you can both pour into others and still leave room to nurture your own mental health. Remember, strength is not found in silence, but in honesty, connection, and the courage to keep moving forward. Everybody have a good evening. Love is love. See y'all next Wednesday.
Man, right on, Marcus, man. Have a good night, brother. Love.
Yes, sir. You too. Love.
All right.